Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead, and today we're going to process for storage these 40 pounds of potatoes I got on sale. Now I'm doing it differently this time. I'm doing oven roasted seasoned potato wedges, I'm canning breakfast potatoes, and I'm going to do slices again for dehydrating for crock pot meals. And we're going to peel our potatoes. Some people have told me to fry up these potato peels for part of supper or whatever. No, I'm not going to go there. Just because, if you want, you can wash those potato peelings and fry them up in hot oil and seasonings for fried potato skins, but I'm just not going there. I'm just going to put these in my dish pan of water over here to get them ready. Okay, so right here I have about 15 pounds of potatoes peeled, and here is our slicer, and I've got it dialed, I do believe I have it dialed, to the smallest like slice. It's gonna kind of make little potato slivers. And this is going to be for my canning of breakfast potatoes. I call them breakfast potatoes, but they're not really breakfast potatoes. I'm going to can potatoes and onions for fast soups and frying. See? They're nice and thin, and this is one time you will find me canning raw pack. Now this has suction cups on the bottom, and it holds pretty good. These, see? These are going to be nice little sliced potatoes for canning. Some of these fly off, just throw them in the water. Here I have approximately 15 pounds of thin sliced potatoes for canning. And this is their third soak in water. I'm trying to get as much of the starch off as possible. So, this is their third rinse. Now I'm going to get ready for canning. I got 20 pints here. I got 20 pints here because that's what that canner holds. Now I am cold packing this, and this will be the one time you will see me not blanch potatoes before canning. Why? Because they're very thin, and if I blanch them, they might just turn to mush. So what I did was the potatoes got peeled and soaked. Then they got sliced and soaked. And then they've been rinsed. So I've gotten as much external starch off of these potatoes as I could. Here is a bag of our frozen onions. Here's my debubbler, my damp paper towel. Back there is my lids, washed, rinsed, and I had put them in hot water, rings, the whole 9 yards. And yes, I have gone ahead already and put a half a teaspoon of salt in each jar. Now everything I'm doing is cold water, cold stuff, and they're going into the canner cold. Here's my canner with the recommended amount of water in the bottom and a shot of vinegar. And again, this is cold. Okay, now I gotta work quick because these onions are frozen. Let's start. Just a few onions. Doesn't have to be a lot. Now it's just Howard and I. And Miss Lori at Whippoorwill Holler adds bell peppers. And as far as I could tell, everything she did was raw packed. So I'm going to trust her judgment on that. And I'm going to fill this with cold water. To 1 inch from the top. Always, always. Actually, my next jar I will put the straw in first. Always, always debubble. Make sure it's 1 inch from the top. Always wipe your rims with a clean damp paper towel. Where'd my magnet go? Where'd my magnet go? It was right here. Oh, there it is. There we go. My lids were washed, rinsed, and then poured over with boiling water. But they've cooled down, so they're not hot going on the jar. There we go. Into the canner that goes. All right, when I have the canner full, we'll be back. All righty, now I got 18 pints in my big canner and 6 pints in my smaller one. I'm actually going to take one of these out. So I've got 17 and 7, which is 24 jars of hash browns. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the lids on these and we'll be right back. Now I've gone ahead and turned these on high. Remember, I cold packed these. So it may take some time for these to come up to steam. But when this starts spouting a steady stream of steam, and this one, we will set the timer for 10 minutes. Being that the canners are 2 different sizes with 2 different quantities, I may have to set a second timer, but that's okay. All right, we have 1 canner spouting a steady stream of steam. I'm going to put the timer on for 10 minutes. And this one's almost there, but the bobble has not popped up yet. So I'm going to have to set a separate timer for this one. Okay, so this canner has been venting a steady stream for 10 minutes. I'm putting the 10-pound weight on that, and then we'll put the weight on that one. As soon as we get our first vigorous jiggle, these are going to be canned for, now I'm doing 10-pound weights. Please check your manufacturer's directions if you live 1,000 feet or more above sea level, because your weights and measures and processing times may change. As soon as I get my first vigorous jiggle, I'm going to time these for 35 minutes. It's 35 minutes for pints, 40 minutes for quarts. Okay, both our timers have gone off. This one just now. Now we're going to let these can naturally. You're not going to plunge them in cold water, wrap them in wet towels. You're not going to jiggle the weight. You're not going to take the weight off, and you're certainly not going to try and open it until the sides of your can are comfortable to the touch for the count of 5. Here are my 24 pints of hash brown potatoes. And for the most part, I'm really pleased. I did, however, get a couple of jars that are turning to sludge. And you know what? I'm not going to worry about it because that's a perfect start for potato soup. But as for the rest, they all look pretty good. Okay, it's been 2 days since I did these, and they're all turning to mush. The only thing I could think of that I might have done different would be to blanch them really quick, or at least pack them in boiling water. But never fear, none of these will go to waste. They'll get used in soups, and we'll see what else we can manage. Now I went and peeled the rest of these 20 pounds of potatoes, and I've got them divided. This water's a little cloudy because it's the original water from these. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be cutting these up into fries. I may use the pump and slice, I may not. These are going to be pumped and sliced into rounds for scallop potatoes. All right, so let's get on it. Thank you, Wanda, for my pump and slice. She told me to get rid of my chopper, but no, I'm not going to get rid of my chopper. It has its own uses. You make sure you want to put the flat side towards the blade. Well, that is a lot handier. Look at that. Here is our sliced potatoes, and these went in minutes. But I've used the apple slicer before for making doing potato wedges. But you know what? I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to cut these into some form of fry or wedgie fry. No, don't tell me to get a fry maker or slicer, because you know what? I've got too many gadgets as it is, and this should do fine. Just a minute, Grace. I'm coming. Okay, so here is our wedges, and I've strained them. I have them in this tablecloth to dry them to the best of my ability. And it is a clean tablecloth, yes. There we go. We're going to take some olive oil. The last of that bottle. I'll be saving that for vinegar. And some basil olive oil. And some hot pepper olive oil. Not much. Alright, here we go. Now, I'm going to put on some salt. Some onion powder. Nice bit of paprika, garlic powder. You season it however you want, okay? And not much pepper because we put that pepper oil in there, and you know Howard always adds it. Get them all covered with those oils and those seasonings. I'm going to put half this tray, or half this bowl on this tray. And on go the rest. Alrighty. Here's our blanching water. Please be really careful, folks. And we're going to bring these back up to a boil and let them blanch for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay, these took about 10 minutes to come up to where it's bubbling. And I do believe now that they're bubbling, whoops, what are you? You're a whole potato. Oh my goodness. I'll put you in with supper. That's the problem with slicing the round potatoes and putting them back in the bowl, is sometimes you miss a potato. Alright, so these are almost ready. Alright, let's get these strained and on the dehydrator. Alright, I have my strained potatoes over here. Let's now just start getting these laid out. Whoops, dropping crap all over the place. I'm going to put these on as thinly as I can. And then if I have potatoes left over, I will, yeah, that works better. If I have potatoes left over, then I'll put them on the thinner, on the ones that have the least amount. Ouch, these are really hot. You might want to run them under cold water. I just am too busy. I got to get these all done before the bread comes out of the oven and I can put the wedgie potatoes in. All right, 135 degrees fruit and vegetable setting until they're dry. All right, let's get our bread out of the oven. There we go. These get shoved together and covered. And now we're putting our wedgie fries in the oven. My first tray of wedgie fries has to come out to be stirred, but supper has to go in. So these will be going back in for cooking after. Here are my wedgie fries. We would have had another bag this size, except Howie wanted more potatoes at supper, so we finished some up for him for that. All right, the rest is the potatoes on the dehydrator. Here is all of our sliced potatoes. There it is. You saw the wedgie fries. We have 3 more quarts of sliced potatoes
for casseroles and 24 pints of potato sludge and onions. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead, and that's 40 pounds of potatoes. Take care, God bless.